Hello and a warm welcome along to the show. This is United Kingdom Talk. My name's Chris Reardon. And first of all, I'm sorry, but I went down to see my friend Jason with his hip replacement. I'm afraid he was camera shy, boys and girls. There I was on the long journey to Brighton, go down and see my friend Jason talk about his hip replacement. And I'm afraid he was camera shy, so we weren't able to do a little film down there. Sorry about that. However, I can tell you he's recovering very well. It's the first time I've seen him for about 3 weeks now, and he is now walking on one crutch. Not only that, but he seems to be able to shuffle about the house with no crutches at all, and that's such a vast improvement since I saw him 3 weeks ago. Quite often when you've got something wrong with you, and perhaps you've experienced this, even if it's something as small as a cold, not usually life-threatening, but nevertheless, and you feel like death, don't you? You feel like death, and while you are that ill, you just don't think it's ever going to get better at all. Those of you unfortunate enough to have had perhaps a long-term illness will also know that while you're kind of in the beginning and middle stages that you think this is never ever going to finish. I know I remember that when I had my burst appendix all those years ago, like about, I don't know, it's about 12 years ago now, the year Diana died. And it just went on and on, a little bit like listening to this programme, to be honest. It went on and on, and you think, oh, I'm never, ever going to be right again. So there we are. Sorry about that. I hope to get Jason on the show, but I'm afraid he got camera shy. Had a nice time there. We went to, guess where we went? Oh, yes. Where did we go? To a carvery, to the Saltdean Tavern, for the second time for our full roast dinner. For £3.50. If you go to Brighton, or you're in the Brighton area, you've got to try that, okay? I'm not on a commission. I'm not getting free meals out of this, you know. The Saltdean Tavern in Saltdean near Brighton, okay? Monday to Saturday, full roast dinner for £3.50. And there's a big sign, go up and help yourself to as many vegetables and that as you want. You can keep going back for that. Unfortunately, I am a little bit susceptible to roast potatoes. However, I did have plenty of carrots and peas to sort of even that out. That's fair enough, isn't it? Eh? My friend Ron, as soon as I said roast potatoes, he goes, oh, carbohydrates, the stuff they're cooked in. He said, terrible, terrible. Oh, he's on a bit of a health mission at the moment, my mate Ronnie. I don't know what it is. He's going to the gym every day. 7 o'clock he goes to the gym. 7 o'clock in the morning. How do people do that? Are you one of those people? Are you listening to this show at the moment on an MP3 player or an iPod thing in the gym at 7 o'clock or earlier in the morning? If so, I'd like to hear from you. How do you do that? I can just about get out of bed in the morning and drag myself downstairs. I tell you what, I can't do anything before a cup of tea. Nothing. Absolutely not. How people get out of bed and go down the gym, even before they've had breakfast, some of them. I don't know how you do that. Are you one of those people? Do let me know how you can achieve that, okay? My email address, and it's always lovely to hear from you, is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. A little bit concerned. I haven't heard from Robert in Iceland for a while. Or Susan, our cat lover. Are you two okay? I mean, sorry, the two aren't connected. I don't think they're having an affair. Well, not yet anyway. But Robert, a man who looks after all the British money in Iceland. How kind of them. Do you know what that business in the news a couple of years ago? Was it about a year or so ago, when Iceland's IceSave went bankrupt? And lots of people thought they might lose their money. I don't think that was the case at all. I don't believe the Icelandic people are like that at all. I think they pretended that they'd gone bankrupt to protect most of the British people. Not me, I hasten to add. Most of the British people who do not know how to save and stop spending money. Once again, I reiterate that. I am not one of those people. I'm not a spender. I am a saver. But most British people, I think you'll realise, are actually spenders, or at least they used to be. I gather with this whole economic situation, a lot of people now, instead of running up their credit card bills and all this, are actually now paying off their debts. And that's got to be a good thing, isn't it? The government and all these business people tell us it's a bad thing and that we need to spend our way out of recession. But isn't that how we got into it all in the first place? Because people just spend and spend and spend. How many times have you come across someone who proudly, and they're not worried about it at all, proudly tell you that they're at their limit on their 3 or 4 credit cards, and they're proud of that. They're pleased that they've spent all that money. And you speak to a lot of them, they've no intention of ever paying it off. They pay off the minimum they can get away with and then go and get another credit card. So it must be good, surely, that people are now paying off their debts. I don't know how. I mean, as I've said before, 2 debts to me are acceptable. 1, a mortgage for a house, and 2, a loan for a car. Loans for holidays, Christmas, birthdays, no, absolutely not. Live within your means. My mum and dad always did. Wouldn't dream of taking a loan out for this, that and the other. And my sister and her husband are the same. They wouldn't take a loan out for a holiday. Or Christmas or all that. It was an absolute load of rubbish. So there we are. So that's that. So very nice time down at Jason's. I had a little sleep on his settee while I was down there because I always have a couple of hours sleep in the afternoon. Although I was very careful this time not to sleep in that dodgy position where I had a bad back for weeks, and I mean about 5 weeks. I had a pain in my back there, and now it's stopped now completely, but it kept coming back. Basically, I was on the settee, and in front of him he's got this coffee table. So I said, do you mind if I put my feet on the coffee? No, he said, that's all right. I didn't have my shoes on. So I put a cushion on the coffee table, put my feet on there, and kind of laid flat. But in between the settee and the table, there's a gap. And of course, I let my bum, oh, I nearly said that word then. Not that I consider it a swear word, A-R-S-E. Anyone consider that a swear word? A-R-S-E? It's not, is it, anymore? Anyway, I won't use it, just in case you are offended. We don't like to offend anyone on this programme, other than any exes that may be watching today. And I'm glad to be away from you. Anyway, so, and my bum was kind of hanging down in between the gap. Probably, I know what you're thinking. Vile people are now thinking, yeah, it was probably the weight of your fat bum that put your back out. And actually, you could be quite right. So nice time down at Jason. I have a correction to make. And this was brought up to me by Wayne, who's not in Reading. Another regular listener to the programme. Hello, Wayne. Who says, I thought it was, because we were talking on the last couple of shows ago. No, one, two, I think about 4 shows ago. I was talking about a problem I had in the coffee entrance area to Thorpe Park. And I thought it was Costa Coffee. And I then proceeded to write a letter of complaint to them, at which they replied. But they have replied again, saying that they've checked their records and they cannot see a Costa Coffee in Thorpe Park. Could I double check and give me the postal code? Of course, I've double checked. It's not Costa Coffee at all, is it? It's Cafe Nero. How stupid am I? So there I was, spending time and effort writing my detailed letter of complaint to Costa Coffee, and it was nothing to do with them at all. In fact, I would even go as far as saying I have never actually been in a Costa Coffee. It was Cafe Nero. So sorry about that mistake there. Cafe Nero. So I did. I didn't leave it at that. I wrote them to Costa Coffee and says, "Oh, I'm very sorry. I've made a mistake. Please accept my apologies. It's Cafe Nero." All right. So not Costa Coffee. Nothing to do with it. It's Cafe Nero. I had the problem with in Thorpe Park. Do you know? I don't know if I can be bothered to write another letter of complaint now. I think I might just leave it. One's enough, isn't it? I can't be bothered to write another letter of complaint, so that's it. Cafe Nero. Very windy the last few days here in the UK. I've noticed my garden is full of twigs and leaves. There's something quite nice about picking those up, isn't there? I've got an electric raker, and you push a button, zzz, and you've got to be very careful not to have it set too low. Otherwise, you end up with nothing left at all other than mud on the grass. Pulls up all the grass and everything. So you set it at a certain level, and it pulls up all the dead grass and everything. But the smell of fresh earth and kind of churned up leaves that the machine creates is really something. Very nice. Very, very windy here in the UK at the moment. Now, in front of me, oh, I've got my cup of tea I bought up today, which I don't usually bring up. Just a minute. In my Sports Direct cup, which I paid 49 pence for in Sports Direct. I mean, I ought to apply to someone to get money for product placement on this programme. I really should. Do you mind if I just finish this? 1 minute. There we are, done. Wipes mouth with sleeve, thank you very much. I don't usually drink tea on the show, but I usually finish things off. I like to complete breakfast and everything before I come up here. I couldn't be bothered to wait today. I just had to come up. I had to rush up because I was so excited to talk to you today. It's a lonely old life living here on my own, I tell you. You're the only person that ever speaks to me now outside of work. You are. Yes. Don't forget that email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, I have a few items in front of me today. First of all, I've been doing a bit of cleaning in the car. Not only in the car, in the house as well. More about that perhaps later in the show or in another show if we don't have time. But I was looking in the back of the car, just picking up... now, how can I say... I don't have a filthy, dirty car. Don't get me wrong. However, bits of paper... one thing I never, ever have, either in the car or in my house, is opened food wrappers of any sort. Pizza boxes, packets of sandwiches, packets of crisps... empty ones of those do not get left anywhere. It's awful. Have you ever been in one of those cars where the footwell in the passenger side is full of sweet papers, crisp wrappers, sandwich... I bet you have, haven't you? Isn't that vile and disgusting? However, in my footwell, tend to gather things like bits of paper that I've read and perhaps put down. There's wires in there, one for the sat-nav, one for the charge the mobile phone up, all sorts of things. And in the back, also things sometimes gather. And one item I found in there was this. Now listen, it's a tin. All right, it's a tin. And I picked it up and I thought, what's that in the back of the car? And it is a tin of, listen, can you hear that? Does it smell like, oh, it smells like it. Here's a clue, right? I'm going to spray it, listen. Right? Is that giving you a clue, the spray? No? Okay, here's clue number 2. This will give the game away. It smells like a hairdresser. Yes, you guessed it. It's a can of hairspray. This isn't any old can of hairspray. This is not L'Oreal or anything posh like that. This is a can, it gets worse, of Tesco's Value Hairspray. Those of you watching the show can actually see this can and will be shocked and horrified to think that here, in the Britannia Studios, home of United Kingdom Talk, next door to the Mirable Studios, is a can of Tesco's Value Hairspray. Now, I pondered for a moment or two on how this actually got into the car. There's only one person that's been in my car recently, other than myself, and let me tell you, it's not my own. This is not my Tesco's Value Hairspray. I do not use such feminine products on myself. There's nothing like... I don't use any feminine product at all. Whether it be makeup, hairspray, tampons, Femfresh. I don't use any of that whatsoever. Not even the things with wings. We don't use them. So, what woman has been in my car to leave Tesco's Value Hairspray, I thought to myself. I pondered this for a few moments, and then it came to me in a flash, in a puff of smoke. The only person that's been in my car recently and put his bag, I note his, in the back, is James Dean. Yes, boys and girls, I can reveal today to you on this programme that James Dean, host of matineeshow.co.uk, you know the show, the one that rushes through everything. I should do this very quickly. Moving on. James Dean, host of matineeshow.co.uk, uses Tesco Value hairspray. I mean, what a woman. What a woman. No doubt, I'm going to have to ring him up and say that you've left your can of Tesco's Value hairspray in the car. Number one, how dare you bring feminine items into my car like that? And number two, Tesco's Value, dear. Come on, spend the money. You get what you pay for, dear. Get yourself a Tesco's Value hairspray, and I'm sure it's a good product, but come on, at least leave a Vidal Sassoon item in the back of the car. Oh, mind you, probably not a good idea, because someone will smash the back windows and steal it then, won't they? So, James, there you are. I can reveal on the show, and please feel free to write to him and tell him, please do not leave feminine items in the back of Chris Reardon's car. I mean, I have a man's car. It's a man's car, and it's full of men-type things. Unfortunately, not many men, but just the type of things that one would use. You know, the sort of thing. I don't know, a couple of screwdrivers, rusty old spanner in the back, set of nails. But not Tesco's Value hairspray. So I thought I'd mention that to you. James Dean, Tesco's Value hairspray user. I don't know what that boy does to his hair. Some very, very strange fashion ideas that boy's got. I don't know, those of you that watched the show saw it, it's a few months ago now. Do you remember that awful pink T-shirt he had on? Wasn't it dreadful? And and he left a pair of trousers here once. Because when he comes, he does bring usually a change of clothes. And he left this pair of trousers, and it's still here. He's come twice since to this house, and he don't seem to be able to take the trousers off. So I've shoved them in a plastic bag and stuck them in the garage. I'm sick to death of seeing them hanging around on here, on the floor in this spare room. I just want to point out, he does actually stay in the spare room, okay? I wouldn't dream of going there. No, thank you. Not my cup of tea. Not man enough for me, I'm afraid, James Dean. Come on, ladies. How many of you, I wonder, are in a lovely relationship, a loving relationship? Your man does everything for you, doesn't he? Wouldn't you just like a 6-foot hard nut with tattoos to throw you about a bit? I thought you would, wouldn't you, eh? Why do you like the bad boys? Why is that? Eh? Let us know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And well, James Dean's hairstyle and other bits and pieces got me to thinking, do you remember your youth fashion? Or maybe you are youth at the moment. Do you have a special fashion and your mum and dad says to you, or whoever looks after you, you're not going out dressed like that, are you? Did you ever have that? When I was younger, I went for a few fashions. I went through a very long, floppy hairstyle, right, with a centre parting and flicks. I had flicks. I had flicks on my hair. Who had a centre parting when they were younger? And then I had spiky hair, but it wasn't short spiky hair. This was long spiky hair. And I used to gel it all up. And I had great big gold earrings, one each side. I looked like a gypsy. I always remember turning up to a social club to do a mobile disco. And that was the time when I was dressed like this. I think it was about 20, 21, 22, something like that. And I turned up there, and there was all these elderly people in there. And I turns up with my spiky hair and my earrings. And I started playing, and it turned into a good night, and that was it. Played what they wanted. That's what I usually do. When I'm booked to do a disco, I'll try and work out what the majority of people want, and I'll play that. I may not like the music myself, but that's the job. That's perhaps why I'm still doing this. I will look, and when people come up to me and they say, do you really like this record? And last time I might say, no, I hate it. Why are you playing it? Because they want it. I'm being paid to do what they want, not what I want. And at the end of the night, this bloke come up to me and he shook my hand. He probably in charge of the social club. As I say, I'm going back a good 20 or so years here. And he said, well, thank you very much. He said, I don't know what to say. He said, I've got to admit, when we first saw you come in and you were setting up with your spiky hair and your earrings, we wondered what we'd let ourselves in for. But you've proved me completely wrong. Well done. Shook my hand and gave me a few more bookings. You see, never judge a book by its cover. You can't judge people by looks, can you? Huh? You've got to try and look past the cover. Unfortunately, and I too am guilty about this, we look at people and the first thing we go on are looks, aren't we? Why do we do that? Why can't we look at the person and find out a little bit about them first and then decide whether we like them or not? It's a strange thing, isn't it? It really is a strange thing. I think with computer dating, it's like not done us many favours, really. There's various sites on the internet. I think one is beautifulpeople.com or something like that. And if you're good looking enough, they will accept you to go on there. You put your picture and your little bit about yourself on there. And then it's like a dating thing. And only beautiful people, as voted by other members that are on there already, are allowed on there. And I think that's such a shame, don't you? Can you imagine if all dating was now done over the internet? People who perhaps are not very good looking, and I consider myself in that category. Don't write in and say, oh, you're gorgeous and all that. I'm not asking you to do that, because I don't think I am, and never have done, right? But people who are not beautiful won't stand a chance on internet dating sites, will they? I mean, when people went out and you get talking to someone, perhaps you're in a relationship now with someone who is not fantastic looking to start with. But as you've grown to know them, the beauty from inside has come out. And now you can look at that person and say they're the best person, the best looking person ever, because you know now their insides. And I think it's something that cannot be achieved on the internet. I'm on a few dating sites myself. And in the profile section, do you write on these internet dating sites, do you write about yourself, or how many people write, I wonder, to what they think someone else is looking for? I could put on there 6'2", dark hair, darkish complexion. I mean, I am white, but I am a very I tan like that. Okay, so certainly when I come back from Australia, you'll see a really deep brown colour that I've got, which I'm very much looking forward to that. But I wonder how many people on these dating sites don't actually put about themselves, but what they think other people want to see. For example, I am 46 years old. On a lot of these dating sites, I go below the 40, 37, usually 37 to 39. Will I get away with that? I don't know. How many other people lie about their age on these sites? I bet most of them do. Because I do feel once you go over that 40 mark, that's it. What do you reckon? Let us know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Are you on a dating site? Did you meet someone on there? And did it work out? But with people who are not, perhaps, in some people's eyes, beautiful, on a dating site like that, they wouldn't have a second chance, would they? People flick through the I do it myself. They flick through the photos. Oh, don't like that. Bang. That's it. It's gone. If you were out somewhere, whether it be in a library, a pub, a club, a shopping centre, and someone starts talking to you, you might think, oh no, don't really like the look of him or her. But as time goes, oh, he sounds quite a nice person. Well, on the internet, you're never going to, quote, sound like a nice person, are you? Not even if you've got the little videos and the pictures and all that. So I don't know if this dating thing is all what it's made out for. Let us know what you think about that. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Yes, pens in Belushi's are my karaoke nights. Will people... I do 3 karaoke nights. If you ever want to come along to them, they're great fun. One is in Hammersmith in London. Belushi's, Hammersmith, London, every Monday night from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Free entry. Okay? That's one karaoke night. Another karaoke night I do on Wednesdays at Belushi's in Borough High Street, London Bridge. Get there before 10 and it's free entry. Otherwise, it's £3 after. Okay, that's Belushi's London Bridge or Belushi's Borough High Street near London Bridge. That's on Wednesdays, 10 till 2. And one in Birmingham on Friday nights at Route 2, Hurst Street in Birmingham. Friday nights, great big stage there, proper lighting, really good sound. And that one's, as I say, at Route 2, Hurst Street in Birmingham on Friday nights between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. But people keep nicking my blooming pens. Will you stop nicking my pens? It's shocking, it is. We're going to have alarms fitted. You know those alarms that they've got that get set off when you carry through, like, items made of metal, whether it's knives or guns, and do they have alarms that go off when drugs are trying? I don't think they can detect drugs as they come in, but certainly all the metal bits and pieces, yes, we have alarms that would go off. We need someone to invent an alarm to go off when people steal my pens. If you don't mind, thank you very much. Stop nicking my pens. Be lovely to hear you come down and sing. Finally today, mouldy cheese. Can you believe I've bought a packet of cheese from Sainsbury's? Very unusual this, because Sainsbury's stuff is very good quality. And it's already gone mouldy, so I'm going up the shop straight after this show to try and get an exchange of cheese. We can't be... Oh, and I'd made beans on toast with cheese on the top. And I started eating, I thought, that tastes mouldy. And I looked down and there was some green cheese. I hadn't even noticed it when I put it on. Always check what you're going to eat first. Anything you're going to put in your mouth first, you check it carefully. Pardon? Yes, you know what I mean. I'll let you know how that goes on the next show, okay? Time to go. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk is my email address. See you on the next show. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye now.